Welcome to the Wolf Mother Podcast, a podcast bridging the human and the being, speaking on spirituality, but rather than trying to escape this reality, we will be grounding and rooting down into everything that is the entirety of this human experience on Earth. I am Dan Arhakos, space holder and healing facilitator. We will always begin by taking 3 deep breaths together. So let's take a deep breath in through the nose. You can have your eyes open or closed. And softly out of the mouth. Deep breath in again through the nose. Softly out of the mouth. Last time, deep breath in. You're going to hold it all the way at the top. You're going to hold it here. You're going to relax your shoulders. Try to relax your jaw. Relax the space in between your eyebrows. When I say 1, you're going to let out a nice sigh. 3, 2, 1. Thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. So on today's episode, we will be diving into the topic that it's okay to step away from healing, right? Self-healing, whatever this idea of healing is to you. So I'm really speaking to the idea that there are so many of us on this journey of self-healing. Spirituality and self-healing became really popular, I would say, during the pandemic. It's been growing rapidly within like the last 30 years, but especially since the pandemic. On social media now, you see that it's like cool to do self-healing or things that are considered quote unquote spiritual. Things have been commodified, like you can go to places like Target and Five Below and kind of like get, I guess, quote unquote spiritual items. But this is a conversation that I have had with many of my clients. It's okay to step away from healing, especially if you're somebody who is dedicating so much time and energy and effort into healing. It can be exhausting, especially if you're not really sitting in an integration period where the idea is, okay, I've done A, B, and C in the last month. So now I would like to integrate what happened from A, B, and C into my everyday life before I look at D, E, F. It's cool to go to all of these things, and I think there's even more than it just being like cool to do these things. I think there is a push to do them, especially like running in certain communities, going to classes, events, workshops, even retreats have almost become the way that we get to hang out with like-minded people and spend time together. But sometimes we don't need that workshop or event or retreat. We just need more time to sit with what we have already received. And this goes even further if you're like, oh, well, I don't really go to anything in person with other people. If you are sitting on your own, I had a conversation with my holistic nutritionist this morning, and we were talking about how my body is so tired and so antsy because before I get out of bed in the morning, sometimes I do 2 to 3 different meditations before I even step foot out of the bed. That's just my personal preference. I like to meditate heavily when I'm in that in-between phase of sleep and wake. But the reality then comes down that you need a break from that too. If you are spending a lot of time doing ritualistic work and divination and meditating, sometimes you just need to really bask in the humanness. A friend, when I was still living in Mexico, made a joke and was like, you should just come home at this point and we could do something that regular people do. Like, I don't know, go to a movie. Like, we don't have to do anything like we would normally do in our practice. And that's true. Like, watch a movie, go for a walk. Not every little thing that you do has to be spiritual. Can it be something done with intention? Because again, these are conversations I've all had with my clients recently. Yes, you can have an intention for going on your walk. You can have an intention for going to the movies. I think that's beautiful. But also you're allowed to just immerse yourself in a human experience without needing to get something spiritual out of There's a podcast that's called Healing from Healing, and that's a bit of a different idea, where it's kind of like healing from the spiritual community, which is a completely different conversation that I think is very important to have as well, because a lot of these spiritual communities, I'm going to stop myself before I continue on. I have a lot of thoughts on that, but just in your own practice, it's important to take space away so that you can focus on what's actually working in your practices and what's not working in your practices. You don't want your healing and self-help journey, although you want it to be deep and expansive and pull at those really dark places, you don't want it to engulf you into a place of burnout and complete exhaustion. And that is the whole message. So thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I would love to hear your thoughts, comments, questions. If you are listening to this video on YouTube, if you're listening on Spotify, thank you so much. If you want to leave us a comment, head over to YouTube. And I'd love to talk about healing from spiritual communities, but you guys let me know. Would you like me to talk further into that topic? So many blessings to you and yours, and I will see you all next time.